Hello dear friends, so in this video we are going to do a few things. So I'm studying IT entrepreneurship, and I thought maybe I share some few knowledge I have learned about IT entrepreneurship. So if we ask ourselves what is IT entrepreneurship, IT entrepreneurship is the process of creating a new venture within the technology field. So we can say, what is IT entrepreneurship? So let's see here. Entrepreneurship. So this is a process. Of creating a new venture in technology field. So what we are going to do is like when creating an IT, what is the result of IT entrepreneurship? We create an IT startup. So all these things are connected. So now we have like understood what is IT entrepreneurship. It's just creating a new venture in the technology field. Let's add here field. So what we will have as a result of doing IT entrepreneurship is an IT startup. But before we go to IT startup, there is a process that is involved when creating a new venture. So one of the process is creative thinking. So one of them is creative thinking, or what we call ideation. Creative thinking or ideation. So there is many ways of generating ideas using technology. So that is the one of the process of creating a new venture in IT field. Then we have another process which is identifying opportunities. So also here we will just, for creating the IT startup, we will identify opportunities, and we do the risk management. But before we do risk management, we have to do the feasibility studies to make sure our idea is visible. So here we will do the feasibility study. Feasibility study. Then after doing the feasibility study, we have generated an idea. We do another process, which is we can be able to do product development. And prototype. We do the same. So basically what we are doing is we are doing the steps that are needed when we are creating an IT startup. So we have product development. When then you do the product development, you can be able to do business planning. Number 8. You can do business planning. That is where you like write a plan on how you are going to do your plan. Then we have commercialization, and commercialization, this is where you maybe like you go and what do we call it, you register your idea. So commercialization and IP, intellectual property. So once you've done that, so we have done business plan. Then the last point is business plan is where you also do the finance, I guess. So we will just double check after doing this. So you do the IP, then you do the business growth. You do the business growth. As the last point. Also, in the same process, there is the idea of like managing your team, where you'll be also required to have leadership skills and so. But also, like I want to go back on creative thinking. Creative thinking, you can be able to use various methodology to come up with ideas. So there is this idea of scramper method. You can be able to use it to come up with an idea. So first, I know about the scramper method up to M. So S stand for a substitute. You can be able to find a solution that exists in the market. Let's say an iron box, and earlier before we had iron box which used charcoal, but then somebody came up with an iron box that uses electricity, so he did substitute. That was his idea generation. Then we have a combined method. Combine, this is where you find an existing solution, then you combine something else on top. I can't think of an example directly, but you can use AI to ask for that. Then you can be able to adapt. Adapt is where, like an example of a supermarket. In earlier days in Kenya, we had no supermarket, we had kiosk. Then somebody went to the outside country, abroad. He saw the concept of supermarket. He brought the idea to Kenya and adapted it to the Kenyan market. That is how we do it. Then we have modify. Modify is the existing service we have, then you modify it. Like for example, we have old car tires. If they got spoiled, we have people who take those tires and make shoes. So that is where you can be able to modify. The other one, I'm still learning about them. Then we have design thinking. So once you have an idea, so I think design thinking is part of ideation. And design thinking, we have a process. We have a process. So I think the first process is empathy. I want to write. So the first process in design thinking is empathy. Like put yourself into your customer's shoe and understand their problem. Then the second point of empathy is ideation, the one we have just talked about. After ideation we have empathy, ideation. Let me just cross check. Empathy. So the first process is empathy. Okay, ideation is number 3. So number 2 we have define a problem. Then number 3 we have ideation, to come up with an idea, and you use the scrumper method. We have many other methods. And define is where you have empathize what the customer wants, and like what we say about design thinking is a human approach to solving a problem. Like you have to put yourself in a user shoes, understand his problem, and to do that you can be able to follow a process which will, I think, talk more about it later. So number 2 you have to define a problem. That after understanding the what the user has, then you define a problem. Number 4 is you come up with, what do we call it, a prototype. So we have generated ideas. Number 2 you do a prototype. Then number 5 you test your prototype and then gather the data. So this approach is just about gathering data and iterating. So when you test you will have a data, so you go back to empathy. So this is a circular process. So in the next part I will have studied more about this. So now I think we have done the creative thinking or design thinking. Then we will learn more about opportunity and risk management and how to do feasibility study, product development and prototype, how we can be able to do that, business planning, then how to do commercialization, how to do business growth. That is what I want to learn. So I think that's what I wanted to achieve for today. So I can be able to tick this. So but before we go, maybe we analyze how startup impacts economy. So startups they use technology. That's why they are able to do various things. Like to be able to scale as a startup is very, because you are using technology, the cost is very low. So how do IT startups affect our economy? One is they help in job creation. That is direct and indirectly. So they help in job creation, like they hire skilled labor who will be able to managing their assets, which mostly are in IT parts. Then they force innovation. And how do they force innovation? When they create a new new thing in the market and it's successful, many people are forced to adapt or just be killed by this innovation. As an example, we have M-Pesa, which give us the ability to send money to long distances, and this forced bank to be innovative and give us banking apps which are very innovative. So you can see about that. Then they have a multiplier effect. So when we have a startup open a shop, then in the area where it opened a shop, there is people who come to offer service to people who are working in the IT startups. Maybe they serve tea, just they support the workers. So we have multiplier effects and innovation effects. And any other, do we have any other thing we can be able to do? We can confirm. So they do job creation, innovation. We have multiplier effects, and innovation is related to creative destruction, whereby creative destruction is where we are forced to do new things, or we are forced to adapt or perish. Then we have a spillover effect. I forgot about this. So spillover effects is, you see, like Tesla they researched heavily on EV vehicles, and this technology was felt elsewhere, mainly in China. Like they forced the whole industry to be innovative and use the Tesla research. By the way, Tesla patents are free, so anybody can be able to use them and do their thing. So by giving out their research as free, we have a spillover effect where that research helped other industry to grow. So that is also very good. Anything on my side? So we have outlined basic steps in launching an IT startup. Also, we have talked about technological entrepreneurship, and let's confirm if what we said is the thing. Yes, technological entrepreneurship, we have talked about it. Commercialization, we have talked about it, where commercialization is a process of bringing a new product or service to market and generating revenue from sales or use of this technology. So commercialization is bringing a new product or new product to the market, a new technology product to the market. That is the commercialization. IP refers to the legal right that protect creative work. Okay, and IT startup are New ventures that focuses on developing innovative technology in the field of IT. So let's see whether I have achieved that KPI. We have outlined these steps. Technology entrepreneurship is the process of what? Process of creating a new venture in technology field. That is IT entrepreneurship. Process of creating a new venture in technology field. Commercialization is the process of bringing a new product or a new technology in the market. IT entrepreneurship refers, let me put them here. We have less time. We're supposed to go to another thing. Commercialization is the process of bringing a new product in the market. New product or technology in the market. IT startup are new ventures focusing on developing innovative technology in the field of IT.